Okay. Hi everyone, it's Heidi with Revive, and today is Finish Friday. What's Finish Friday? It is Friday, obviously, and I'm going to try my darndest. Sometimes I'm not always great at this, but I'm gonna try to show you a different kind of finish every Friday, or at least a certain finish or a certain technique every Friday. And today I thought I would show you how to create a crackle finish. And there are a couple ways you can do this. It just depends on the look that you want. So this is what we're going for today. This is a piece of sample wood that I use to create samples. And it's gonna be kind of hard to tell on camera, but can you see how there are little tiny fissure cracks right up here? Hi, Stacy, one of my furniture finishing friends. Okay, so there's that kind of crack. There's also large cracks where it flakes off, it chips, and you can kind of see the difference here. So if you want, I'm going to go over both kinds of ways. I'm not going to do both tonight. Today I'm going to go over the fine fissure cracks like I showed you in this, and then next Friday I will go over the larger chippy big cracks. So, but first of all, the tiny fissure cracks gives you a really subtle look. You're not going to see giant cracks through your piece. It's going to be a very elegant and, like I said, subtle and subdue is the word I was looking for, look that you want to create. And the product I'm going to use for that is called Cracked Patina. Now, both of her products that create cracks start with the word cracked. It makes sense, right? But it can get confusing. So there's cracked patina, and then there's cracked gesso. And cracked gesso is what you use to get this look. So, the way that I remember this best, for the cracked patina, think of Oreo cookies. And I love Oreo cookies. I especially love it when it's in ice cream. But the reason I bring up Oreo cookies is because you've got layers. You've got the bottom cookie, you've got the filling, and then you've got the top layer. That's what you're gonna do with the cracked patina. It's gonna be a layer of chalk paint, or of one-step paint, but it's a chalk-based paint. Layer of chalk-based paint, the cracked patina, which is this, and then another layer of chalk-based paint. And that is the only way that it will work. With the cracked gesso, there are several ways you can use it, which I won't go into right now, but just so you know, always remember, if you can't remember, always think of an Oreo cookie when you see this bottle. So, first of all, you can do this one of two ways. You can choose 2 shades of color, or you can do a monochromatic look, and that's what I did on this. So you would do a base layer in black, the cracked patina, and then another layer of black. If you want like a subtle color to show through, you're going to want to put that color on first, and then layer on the cracked patina, and then the top coat. So what I'm going to do is going to demonstrate this for you today. So these, like I said, these are sample finishing boards that I use. And you can, doesn't have any stain or paint on it, and I just put my chalk-based paint right on top of this. Now, if you are working on flipping a piece of furniture that already has paint or already has a stain, you're going to want to make sure you clean it with clean slate first, and make sure you get any dust and dirt, grime, wax off of it. Then you're going to want to put down your coat And you only need one coat, your one coat of paint, but make sure there are no holidays. And what's a holiday? It's just a break. Just like we need breaks, there are holidays. It's a term in furniture painting, where if you leave a holiday, you leave a space. If you don't want any holidays, you do 100% coverage. So I have done this ahead of time, and I painted this piece in black, little black dress, one-step paint, with no holidays, complete coverage. So I'm going to show you what I did next. So you want to get your cracked patina, and your cracked patina is very sticky. It's like, I'll show you here, I'll kind of pour it into it's like, kind of like the consistency of maple syrup, and it kind of looks like maple syrup. Can you see? It's kind of dark, a dark amber color. If it gets too thick, you can always add a little bit of water. Then you're gonna wanna get a little chip brush, and I always label my chip brushes so I don't mix my products on them. So this just says cracked patina. And you're going to dip it in the cracked patina and offload it a little bit. And you're just gonna spread it over the entire thing. So just like this. You don't wanna go on too thick, because again, it's very gummy. Now, what you need to know about this is that it will not dry. Like, it will come, what we call, what we say in the industry, it will come to tack, which means it gets, like, when you put your finger on a piece of like tape or like a tack strip, and you kind of can pull it off, but it doesn't stick to your hand, but it kind of feels like it's pulling a little bit. That's what you want it to feel like. It will never, ever, you can leave this out for years and it will remain tacky. So it's not something you can put on top of your furniture and just leave there. Okay, so, and because it is really thick, just wipe off any excess, but make sure you get it 100% coverage, no holidays, okay? And then make sure you clean your brush. And a little bit goes a long way, you guys. I literally just used a tiny bit. You're gonna wanna let that set up. You're gonna wanna let that set up for, see, now my hands are all sticky. You're gonna wanna let that set up for 1 to 2 hours. And when it's ready, like again, you can touch it, it won't stick to your fingers, but you'll feel it kind of like tacky. I'm obviously not gonna make you wait, so I'm gonna put that aside, but I've prepared one already. So it's very shiny. You can kind of see how it reflects the light, but you can see it, like it kind of grips my finger, okay? So once that's come to tack, you're going to take, of course I forgot my paint. Let me grab that just a second. Okay. Now I'm going to take my paint, make sure it's mixed up really well. Now, these are my favorite brushes. This is a microfiber specialty wedge brush, or a specialty brush, it's not wedge, but you're just gonna go ahead and paint right over the top. And it'll be, because it's the same color, it might be a little bit hard to see, but how you can tell that you've covered it is that because the patina is so shiny, once you put the paint over the top, it will dull the shine, okay? So just gonna paint that on. Again, you don't need to go on too thick. Just a light coat. Make sure you get in all the cracks and crevices. And if you find that you missed a spot after it dries, you can always go back. Okay. Now I'm gonna blow dry this for you really quickly, so bear with me, but that will allow me to show you the final step. So bear with me for just a second while I turn my blow dryer on. Okay, thanks for bearing with me, guys. Ultimately, I would really like to see this come to full dry before I put the wax on. But for demonstration purposes, what I will do, I will try to put the wax on where it's more. Sorry guys, my husband was calling. I forgot to put the phone on silent. So, okay, so you have a couple of options here. One, you can just leave it as is. And with Amy's one-step paint, it doesn't need to be sealed. If you are gonna get if it's gonna be like a top of a table where it's gonna get a lot of use, I do recommend sealing it, but it is self-sealing paint and you actually don't have to seal it. If you want to, for aesthetic reasons, there's a couple of ways you can do this. Now you can just use like a clear wax that comes in a puck like this, and this is a hard wax, has a carnauba wax, and it will dry to be like what they use on a bowling alley. The other way you could do this is to use a liquid wax, and this particular method I like to use a liquid wax because I'm going to mix something in with it. Oh, my thing fell on the ground. So I just use old pieces of cardboard, and I'm going to take, I've got to shake it up a little bit because it's got, you know, it's liquidy. So, oh, that's a piece of glue. So I put my wax on my piece of cardboard, and I have a chip brush for my wax, and I'm gonna dip it in the wax, offload it a little bit, And this is a little bit more malleable. It goes on not as stiff, and it allows you to tint the wax. It also allows you to use something called Dust of Ages, which I'm going to show you really quick. And you just want to brush it on like this and get in all the cracks and crevices. Okay. Now, you generally want to allow your wax to come to tack again anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour, depending on the humidity. And here in Washington, we have a lot of rain and a lot of humidity, so I tend to like to wait about 30 minutes, but don't go too much beyond that, because then it will start to harden and it won't accept the Dust of Ages anymore. So this, I for the longest time didn't know how to use this. I didn't know what it was. It sat on my shelf forever. Now that I've discovered how to use it, it's one of my favorite products. What this is just like it sounds, Dust of Ages. It makes things look old. So if you're in a museum and you see those big, gaudy, like gold ornate frames, and you look in the frame and it's got kind of, it looks like, dirt and dust that's kind of accumulated over hundreds of years, and it's a little bit darker of a color, that's what this does. And it just makes things look old in a way that, or I should say on pieces that are carved and cut like this. So it doesn't make any sense to really use this on a flat surface, but where you've got like a piece of furniture that's got a lot of detail, this is the bomb. So all you do is you wait for this to come to tack, and I'm gonna fan it a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put this on my cool setting because I don't want the wax to melt. So I'm going to put it on my cool setting. Okay, so again, kind of your litmus test of whether or not it's come to tack is if you can move the wax around with your finger or your brush, it's still too wet. It's still too tacky, but this has made it harden. This has hardened it up a little bit, so I think it's good. Now, normally you want to wear a mask when you use this, but I'm not going to, just because you guys can't hear me, so I'm not going to let it fly around too much. But you're going to take another chip brush, which I've labeled dust, and it just looks like a gray powdery dust. So you're going to dip it in there, and I kind of tap it on its side, and then you're going to take the end and you're going to pounce into the piece. So I'm just going to go like this, and you're going to want to get 100% coverage again. Okay, and then I usually wipe off any excess, and it's going to look covered in dirt like that. And then you're going to take your buffing rag, which I've got right, hold on again, me and my brain. I have a roll of lint-free rags that I got at Home Depot. Looks like this. And you're just going to buff it, okay? Like this. You're going to remove the excess. And you don't have to get in all the cracks and crevices because you want to let the dust lie where it normally would if it was dust. So you're just gonna buff this. And voila, you've got an aged, cracked look. Okay, can you see that? Let the camera focus a little bit. It's if I get it too close, but you can see the subtle cracking here. And then I need to probably wipe a little bit more dust from here. But compare that to the top where I didn't put it. You can still see the cracks, but no dust. So it really just depends on the kind of look you're going for. But if you look right there, you can see how the dust brings out the cracks. You see that? Okay, so really just goes for the look that you want. I did this on a giant king size bed in white, and it looked awesome. And I brought it into my store, set it up, and it sold within 10 minutes. So I actually love to use it to give it a stroke of elegance. Okay, so there you go. So let me see if there are any questions. Let me go here and get all of this here. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Monica, Dawn, and Annette. So many wonderful ladies have joined me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you think of anything afterwards, feel free to ask. Next Friday, I will go over this product and using cracked gesso, and we will make old furniture together. So my email is revivebyheidi@gmail.com, and you can always contact me through Messenger as well. I will post a link to the products in the comments of this video as well, so if you want to order any, you can. Okay, you guys, thank you for joining me for Finish Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye.